This particular company that received the funding was not on the government's approved labour hire listing.
What the hell?
And not only that, they had been banned from the listing.
Well, clearly not.
Right? And so they received the funding. Now that, whether or not...
quarantine security.
That was the quarantine. So whether or not that process was corrupt was never properly investigated by Coate because she didn't have a brief to do that. So what you've got happening here with the report from The Age is consistent with all this other behaviour that we've seen over a long period of time. It's just another part of the jigsaw puzzle, of a very large jigsaw puzzle of corruption in Victoria.
There is a problem though, because they do it so well. So let me just say to anyone watching, if you think Liberals are paragons of virtue, you're dreaming. Corrupt everywhere. And this is a function of power as people accumulate power, the temptation. Friggin' hell, if I was the Premier, I'd be tempted, and I'd probably be, I hope I wouldn't, but you never know, power corrupts. So I think the problem here, gentlemen, is Victoria and Labor seem to be just better at it, right? Barry Jickling goes down for the boyfriend stuff. Barry O'Fray goes down for wine, maybe because they have no spines to stand up against accusations, but also you're a lawyer, right? Is it fair to say that the brand of corruption here in Victoria is very beautifully well thought out, arm's length stuff?
Yeah, well, it seems to be well constructed. I mean, I don't know the intricacies of this, but it certainly seems to be endemic. The corruption seems to be endemic. I think why it is able to persist is the apathy of the people. I think people are fairly apathetic to it. They're almost normalised in their minds. Oh, that's the way it is. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people. You talk to them about it, they go, oh, that's just the way it is, Nick. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough. So that's the feedback I'm getting. Whereas if people jumped up and down and said, well, hang on, this is not good enough. You know, there should be some oversight. Somebody should be reporting these people. These people should be getting prosecuted for these crimes. These are crimes, remember. When you do things that defraud the public, this is a criminal matter. You go to jail. That's what should happen. The people that are in there. Because when you work together, if I'm your watchdog and I'm in your pocket or you're in mine, how am I your watchdog?
Yeah, true.
That's the problem. Our watchdog system is dead because they're all working together. That's the issue. But the bigger issue is what I just said, apathy. We must, as a community, we must all get together and say, hey, this is not on. This is not what was intended. What was intended was that there be accountability.
IBAC, Chief.
IBAC, and Dan has referred to him as some fellow just happened to head some sort of organisation, and why should I take any notice of
Some
it?
organisation. The Age is saying, headline, this line from IBAC's latest scathing report should alarm Victorians. Well, welcome to the club, The Age. How long have we been saying this for? Look, I'm sick of talking about how corrupt Daniel Andrews is. But at this point, I'm not even worried about defamation saying that. Like, it's ridiculous. Take me to court, son.
Truth is a defence, mate.
Truth is a complete defence.
Yes.
But I would love for him to take me to court for saying he's the most corrupt Premier we've ever seen, because then at least we can do some discovery. We can find out what's going on.
Won't happen.
All right, so Daniel Andrews is corrupt.
A lot of people simply don't believe the corruption was there, right? Because they don't have the knowledge of it.
True.
And unless you have the specific knowledge of it, unless it touches you,
yes,
you really don't know about it. Now, I'll give an example. Before the last state election, before last, the bulk of cleaners in schools were independent contractors, mainly mum and dads, who were contracted by the school to do the cleaning of the school. So there you've got the small business, intimately associated with the school, we know what's going on.
Yep.
You know? All with contracts. The Dan Andrews government didn't like that model. So they overrode all of the contracts, broke all of the contracts, and no compensation to any of those cleaners. Broke all the contracts, made large contracts available to 2 or 3 suppliers,
That's a big
who then supplied the cleaners to all of the schools through a large entities. And those large entities then, of course, employ the contractors who are then all required to be union members.
ostensibly under the banner of efficiency or safety or something
all
like
of
this.
that sort of stuff. But understand what went on. They broke
Yeah.
contracts.
By legislating against them.
Legislating. They legislatively overrode the contracts, right? And that is both, the Parliament can do anything it likes.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But it is morally corrupt.
Yeah.
And in ordinary circumstances, if the state were a corporation, it would be financially corrupt. Right? So what they do is they've picked off one little bit at a time. And what they're doing is in the business of moving our society, or the Victorian society, to a big business society, right? Diminishing the capacity of people to be individually entrepreneurial. So people become part of the big business, big government machine. That's what feeds their income, and they're very happy with that because their income's doing very, very well.
So this is the pressure I'm feeling as a small business entrepreneur my whole life.
You're being told, get out of it.